Okay, this box that I'm making, I've got all the pieces cut, dado joints on top and bottom, and the corners, I'm just about ready to glue it together. I've dry fitted the piece that I'm going to use for the top, because that's your feature side, and then also after that's done, I dry fitted a bottom to fit in. So when I do my final gluing, I can pop those, dry fit those sides in, and they'll fit after. It's so easy to get a little bit out of square. In the corners, as you can see, you always get a little bit of glue squeezing out there, so I've added some masking tape there, and that'll make cleanup there a lot easier. Anyway, we'll go ahead now and glue this together, and I'll be just featuring a few hints and kinks as I go along here. To glue the box, just about need a whole hardware full of clamps to get all the joints tight. My friend Kerfer has made a jig that you only need one clamp. I'll put a link to that, his YouTube project on this at the end of this video. But anyway, there you can see the stuff squeezes out a little bit, so that's an advantage of having the tape on there, and then I can just peel that off and it'll be very easy to clean up. Before I put this together, I sanded the insides surfaces there, so they're actually ready for finish. We don't want to mar them up with glue. Takes just as many clamps almost to glue the top and bottom in. The next step will be to completely sand all the corners down and give it complete sanding. Then we'll be ready to cut it apart to make a lid and a bottom. I've got my boxes all sanded, made in one piece with an inset top. I've used a fractal burning method to make the top on these boxes. They're being made for gifts. Anyway, I'm ready to cut the top off. It'll be sliced near the top here. But one thing that I wanted to show you is a hit. I've picked up a couple of these blades. They're super thin, about 1/16 of an inch thick, and I've mounted it on the table saw here. I can cut a depth of about 1.25 inches thickness when it's mounted on the table saw, but I found them extremely nice to use for making boxes and any small ripping jobs that you have to do. The wood just slides through as if they didn't even exist, and you don't waste so much wood. It seems a lot easier to use than the regular blades. These blades here, this happens to be a 40 tooth. They're used on skill saws, the portable hand operated type. So they're smaller. This one's 1.25 inches, and they still have the 5/8 arbor, so they'll fit on any table saw. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. I found it extremely nice to use, and some of you may benefit from picking up one of these. They can be got quite cheap different times on sale. I think I paid probably about $7 for this one. But I was lucky I picked up 2 of them, so I've got a spare. Anyway, ready to cut this, so we'll get started here. Okay, I've already cut one box apart here, so I can get this right. I haven't done it for quite a while. But my theory is to cut both sides first, so when it comes across here, it doesn't chip out. If I cut the ends first, could chip out a little bit of wood on this side, but I'll just score this deep enough to come to this distance at this time, and then I'm going to raise the blade up to cut all the way through. And on my last cut, I'm going to add a couple pieces of tape just to stabilize it there. Okay, so I think we're ready to start here. Okay, and there's my 2 pieces of tape for stabilizing the slot. And we'll take this off. And there we go. A nice, thin, nice, just even cut. If you take a couple precautions, then you get these so they fit nicely here and not little gouges in that. It's better to take a little care when you're cutting it apart so you don't run into a few problems. Anyway, now I'm going to sand this up, and then I'll just have to go to the finishing stage. I'm going to be pouring epoxy finish here. And I'm going to show you how I mix the epoxy up to get it accurate.